the world is so fast changing. So we have to integrate the knowledge, the expectations, the beliefs of the young generation into today's global decision-making processes. And this is the reason why the World Economic Forum has created, in addition to all its other communities, the community of young global leaders, leaders between 30 and 40 years old, and we have created what we call the Global Shapers community. This is a community of potential leaders, some are already leaders, between 20 and 30 years old, and we have such a community today in over 400 cities in the world. And I'm very proud that we have one here in Chicago, which, by the way, is very active. And I would like to welcome particularly the Global Shapers here. Please raise your hands so that you are recognized. Excellent. In addition, we feel when we talk about the world of tomorrow and when we shape, as we say in the forum, the world of tomorrow, through multi-stakeholder dialogue, we have to integrate in a world which is so much dominated by fake news, we have to integrate the voice of the truth, which means academia, science, and I'm also proud that the World Economic Forum has a relationship with the University of Chicago. Actually, we have a community of 30 universities around the world working very closely with us and being engaged into our different activities. The fourth industrial revolution is not just a prolongation of this digitalization, it's much more. It's a combination of technologies. It's not just the digital technology. Just think of genetics, think of brain research and so on. And the power of the fourth industrial revolution comes from the combination of all those technologies. Actually, I was saying it's at the end what the fourth industrial revolution will lead to is a fusion of our physical, our digital, and our biological identities. So when I wrote the book, I started to write it for years ago. It was published 3 years ago. What is interesting is that 800,000 copies, more than 800,000 copies of those 2 million were sold in 3 countries alone: China, Japan, and South Korea. And you may be interested, who was the biggest buyer with 16,000 copies at the same time? It was the Korean military. Because the fourth industrial revolution will have a major impact also on warfare. So, when I wrote this book, I looked at all the different technologies, and then some of the reaction was, oh, that's science fiction, that's tomorrow. Now, if I look back in 3 years, how much the world has changed. And blockchain, I remember in Davos at our annual meeting 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I organized a breakfast for financial ministers of finance and the head of central banks. And practically some experts had to explain what blockchain is. And today you do not have a central bank which has not, let's say, a big research unit in this area. Bitcoins and so on have become a reality of our lives.